Hello
Hello
there.
there. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars in a Galaxy, watching all the Star Wars we can get our hands on. I'm Eli.
I'm Jacob.
And today we have an episode that we've only done once before in the history of the show, and it's going to be a little bit different for this one, but we have our retrospective episode on the show, The Bad Batch. We did our retrospective episode on the last season last time, and today we're doing our retrospective on the show. So how we did this for the Clone Wars was that we did a top 10 episodes of the Clone Wars, and we also did a tier list of the different arcs. Jacob and I have decided to kill two birds with one stone, as the proverbial saying goes, and do an episode tier list for the Bad Batch, because the Bad Batch really doesn't work in arcs as the Clone Wars does. So here we have a tier list, and we'll put a link to our tier maker profile, which will include this finished tier list at the end of this episode in the description of this episode, so you can check out and make your own tier list. So you have different opinions than we do. I'm sure we're going to make some decisions that are going to mystify and confuse some. So, and of course, the way we do tier lists on In a Galaxy is a compromise. So if Jacob chooses to rank something in the A tier and I want to rank it in the C tier, the logical conclusion that we will come to is we will meet in the middle and go with the B tier. And if Jacob and my tiers are up against each other, that makes it trickier, but we'll always figure stuff out.
Always do. It wouldn't be In a Galaxy if we didn't butt heads at every possible turn.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And want to just get into this?
Yeah, I guess we should just jump in. Do you want to go through this chronologically, or how do you think how would we like to tackle
It's already organized chronologically. So
Okay.
yeah, it is organized chronologically, starting with season 1, ending with season 3. So we start with our triple length season series premiere, which it was like our first glimpse really into what we were getting into. I actually remember I was looking back on my season 1 rankings. I've ranked this surprisingly low for the season 1 ranking, but like this is really like the bread and butter of like already I feel like this is like the Bad Batch becoming more grounded and realistic characters, less cartoony from where they were in the arc of the Clone Wars. Like, there's a lot that happens in this triple length, and so I feel like anywhere below A would be doing a disservice to it.
For me, it's an automatic. In my opinion, it should be an automatic S tier. I think just as a way to open up this story and to open up, really get this cast of characters moving. It's just phenomenal. I mean, seeing Order 66 again, on Caller, and it's just I think it's just phenomenal. I think the grand return for these characters, coming back now,
Yeah. Obviously,
in
the
their own
introduction of
ship.
Omega.
Yeah, the introduction of Omega as well, like Tarkin, like it's just
Yeah.
I really think it's a great first episode, and I think like these big kind of pivotal moments, like seeing Order 66 from their perspective and seeing the Bad Batch, it kind of just sets the tone for the entire series of,
Yeah.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden now that the galaxy has in a moment just changed so fundamentally for them, they're left trying to pick up the pieces and figure out as clones, as not just soldiers by profession, but soldiers by birth, where do we go from here? And I feel like
Yeah.
it just succeeds so convincingly on all fronts. I mean, I look back in my notes and I was just absolutely raving about this episode, and it is my personal favorite from season 1. So I would have to say S tier.
I think I'm gonna go with you. I would put it A tier if I was on my list, but like just because of the monumentalness of this episode in setting up everything and the fact that they did a triple length episode. Damn it! Whoops. I think you're right. It does merit that. Let's look at Cut and Run, which I'm gonna always be biased towards because I freaking love the Lockwayne family, and I never thought we were gonna see them again after the Deserter. And this extra time we spent with them, while Omega learns exactly what she's up against by going with the Bad Batch.
She also learns what dirt feels like, if I remember,
Yeah,
which is a fun moment.
like how to play games and stuff like that. I think this is also needs to go in the S tier.
Yeah, I could agree. I mean, if it were up to me, I would say A or B. But I think knowing your relationship, knowing
Yeah,
historically how you feel about the Law Queens and Cut, I don't have a problem with that. I think
yeah.
you know
They're not at
I
all going to be F. They're not
just
always all going to
yeah.
be S. It
I think
just happens
just
that the first two are really damn good.
setting up Omega's agency, as a character really, really well, fleshing out, they fleshed out pretty much all of the members of the batch, at this point, and kind of differentiated Echo and Tech, for example, and we got to see some of Hunter's emotional journey, and it really kind of sets up the batch, grappling with, especially Hunter, grappling with now being sort of, in a sense, an adoptive father, and they're all being adoptive family for Omega. So I agree with you.
Decommissioned, which is it's the batch with the Order Moondragon, and then Crosshair basically going and retracing the batch's steps from Aftermath, but doing it right this time, or at least his definition of right this time. I remember this being a good episode. I would say around B would be my first instinct.
Yeah, I'm just checking in my notes, and it seems like
Wait.
these aren't.
Ha! No, no, no,
Wouldn't
no.
Rampage come next?
Here's what it is. I think they got a little mixed up, and I don't blame them because these two episodes are very similar. Replacements is actually the third episode of this show.
Yeah.
Decommissioned
Okay. Good.
is the
That's what I thought.
sixth episode of this show,
Cool.
but
Cool.
they're both like they sound very similar, which is probably why they are where they are. Replacements. What I said about Decommissioned is still true about Replacements. I did describe the third episode while saying it with the title of the sixth episode. Still standing. I would go with B.
Okay. So this is Replacements. Okay.
Yeah, this is Replacements.
Yeah. So I enjoyed this. I like this episode. I would say maybe even A. I had this ranked. This was my fifth. This was my number 5 episode for season 1, and I think you had it. Oh, you had it all the way down at 12. So yeah, we feel a little bit differently. I really enjoyed the kind of the B plot with Tarkin and the Empire, and kind of Nala Se and Rampart, kind of their butting heads, and then Tarkin kind of testing Crosshair as well, sending them with the recruits to wipe out Saw Gerrera, and kind of just growing overall the intrigue and the story and the mystery of Camino, the Kaminoans and the Imperials, and exactly what is going on there. And then as well, I think with Omega and Hunter, yeah, I think this episode does a good job of continuing to flesh out their relationship, and we kind of get Hunter having this moment of realizing that it's not Crosshair he's mad at, but himself, after the split, where Crosshair kind of betrays them and joins up with the Empire. And then we kind of see her showing for one of the first times that her insight and her optimism, really adds something to the batch, to this family. So I mean, overall, I think this is a really good episode. I'm gonna go. I would say A, to be honest.
All right, let's
If you're
see.
okay with that, we can put it in A.
I'm gonna put it A. We'll put it A. You went with me on Cut and Run. I feel like I should probably go with you on. All right. The next episode is not Rampage. It's actually Cornered. This tier list got the order a tiny bit wrong, which is fine. Cornered is the one on Pantora with Fennec Shand. I did not mean to put it there, but it's the one on Pantora with Fennec Shand. Echo is sold as a droid for a few seconds. I remember this is one of the episodes I was most disappointed with season 1. I would go as low as D.
Really? What did you not, what disappointed you about it?
It just didn't have a lot, like Fennec was good in it, but like there wasn't a lot of meat to it. Like it was very much she captures Omega and then they get her back, but then she captures her again, and it's this game of cat and mouse through the episode, which is cool, don't get me wrong. It's just like there's not a lot to it other than that. Like we know Omega's in danger, the whole series can be described as Omega's in danger. That's not like something that we needed to that this episode really showed us that we hadn't seen earlier, or that we wouldn't see later.
I guess so. I mean, I think we can see. Yeah, I mean, I maybe I enjoyed it a bit more than you did. I think it was, you know, for an episode where there's nothing major kind of being dropped into the story, no new major developments. I think it felt pretty well paced, and I thought it did a good job of moving the story along, and kind of introducing us to the characters a little bit more, showing their trajectories and development. But yeah, overall, this was, for me, it was a decent episode. Maybe not amazing, but it does have the Aqualish garbage truck driver.
Yeah, it
who
does.
is my favorite Glup Shido. So I do have to give it a bit of props for that. I would say maybe, I mean, what you had at 14, I had at 10 in our rankings. I would go maybe C or B. What do you think?
It's going in C.
Okay, C it is. I think that's a good place for this episode.
Okay. Rampage, which is the episode which we first meet Sid, the episode with Ord Mantell, the introduction of Ord Mantell, Muchi, the Zygerians.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think you're right, like, in terms of the emotional, personal quandaries and dilemmas of the batch. I thought that it did a good job, but I think it's one of those episodes where it starts to fall into the mission of the week sort of trap that season 1 of the Bad Batch, and at times season 2 and even season 3, but really season 1. I think that sort of overly segmented, atomized, one episode at a time, kind of format of storytelling. I don't think that serves. I don't think that serves the show very well, and I think that this was an example of that. It was by no means a terrible episode, but it was my least favorite for the season. I'm not sure where you had it, but I would go maybe C or D.
All right, we're putting it in C because I would put it in a solid B.
Oh, really?
I think this episode.
Okay.
I think this episode was good, not great. I think it actually perfectly fits with the kind of things I put in B, maybe C tier. But anyway, we're putting it in C. Decommissioned is the old battle droid factory with some of my favorites, the Martez sisters. Finally seeing the main characters from the first and second arcs of season 7 of the Clone Wars interacting, albeit with no Clone Wars anymore. I really do like, and of course we get teases of Wrecker's inhibitor chip as well.
Yeah. That was great in this episode, I thought.
Tons of fun stuff in this episode. Oh, and battle droids as well.
Yeah.
I would go with an A for this, but I understand if you would think it's lower.
I'm not sure, because I think overall this was a good episode. I'm kind of referring back to my notes, but I kind of felt that this was a pretty good episode. I said nothing spectacular, but polished and mature, especially for the first season of the animated show. I think this episode was it did do a good job sort of introducing the idea that as mercenaries, the Batch now kind of face a lot more moral judgments and questionable options, and we see them kind of trying to do the right thing, trying to figure out what the right thing is, with Trace and Rafa, and do they give them a copy of the head? Do they give them the head? Who's their employer? Who do they trust in this situation? I'm not sure. Where would you put it?
I already said I'd put it in A.
Oh, A tier. Okay. I mean, I had it mid. I could go A tier for this one as well. I think this is a pretty good episode.
All right. Darn good episode. I don't know why Tier Maker keeps messing up the order of this stuff. The next episode is indeed Battle Scars, where we see the Wrecker's inhibitor chip activate. We meet Rex. We go to Braca. There's the whole they have to tango with like Hunter and Tech and Echo's ships are removed just fine. Wreckers, it takes some more restraint, and it ends on that cliffhanger that leads us right into Reunion, where the Empire finds them. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Battle Scars, which I would probably put. It's one of those I feel like is kind of between tiers. If there was a tier between S and A, that's where I'd put it. I would go with like a high A because like I tend to think of like S tiers as having to like like it's not something like an episode can just be, like it has to kind of earn that S tier, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I thought that Battle Scars earned the S tier in the way that the first two episodes of the season, and spoiler, the next one does. But I'll leave it up to you to decide the ultimate fate of Battle Scars.
I to be honest, I think it belongs in S tier. I think the character work, the way that it kind of
All right.
teases out the emotional subtleties of the clones, being forced to confront all their demons from Order 66. I thought it was a thrilling episode. And actually having Hunter go, or having Wrecker go through that, no less. I thought it was a thrilling episode. For me as well, it was a standout episode.
Yeah. Reunion was the first time that I felt that the show could be something more than what we'd seen with the return of Cad Bane, with the escape from the engine of the Star Destroyer when they like fire the engine of the Star Destroyer.
Oh yeah,
of that being
was
like
great.
a freaking all
Cool.
moment.
That
There's no way
moment.
in my mind that this isn't S.
Yeah, I think I would Reunion. I would be more inclined to say A, but if you really feel strongly,
Oh, I feel strongly. I feel
this is
so
your
strongly.
number one. I just saw. So
Yeah,
I
it
guess
is.
we could say S because like this is a really good episode. I think deepening the mystery with the Kaminoans, Crosshair and the other clones showing up. Like, yeah, I could see that. This was a phenomenal, not phenomenal, but this was a really fantastic episode.
Bounty lost, our first introduction to Boravio, Cad Bane versus Fennec Shand, Omega getting herself back to the batch pretty damn easily, actually.
Yeah.
I would say this is an A episode, but I would understand if you'd want it higher.
I think for Bounty lost, this was actually I had this as actually my second least favorite for this season. I think I don't know. I mean, I loved what we got on Boravio. I loved, seeing Cad Bane again, seeing Fennec Shand, but I didn't feel like beyond Omega, kind of beyond Omega, really going out on her own, going crazy, being so resourceful, and formulating plan after plan to escape. Beyond that, I just feel like this episode didn't have a lot of substance necessarily. So I would argue for like B or C personally.
All right, so I think it's going to be a B for us because I put it at A.
Okay.
Bounty Lost is going to be our first B tier episode of this episode. Common Ground, I would say, would also be a B for me. This is Senator Avi Singh on this, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Raxus Secundus.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have to work together to foil an Imperial invasion of somebody who in the last war they would have been enemies with. I think this is a good episode, not a great episode. I would go with a B.
Yeah, I think it was solid yet unremarkable, nothing out of this world. I think we just see the Bad Batch continue to have their identity challenged in this episode in regards to the war and kind of what they do now, which is cool. But this definitely wasn't one of my favorites. I would go with B as well. I think I can put it. I can go with B.
Devil's Deal and / Rescue on Ryloth, because this is one of those two-parters that gets tricky. I think. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I would do for, because I'm trying to remember the distinction between Devil's Deal, because Devil's Deal only has all the stuff at the beginning. I would say Devil's Deal and Rescue on Ryloth, I think, should both be in the A tier.
I could agree with that. I really enjoyed going back to Ryloth, seeing Cham, seeing young Hera, you know, I think such a war-weary planet was such a good backdrop to kind of have the story play out. I think, yeah, I could go with A.
Give me a second.
I think it was really good,
There
but
we
it
go.
wasn't truly great. But it was a
Yep.
really good episode, and I liked what they did.
Next is Infested, which we're putting in D tier. Next is Warman.
That's
No,
fine.
I don't.
Infested is not. I don't know.
You know why my problems with Roland Duran, the Toro Calican of the Bad Batch.
It's not even Roland Durant for me. The action with the bugs and the entire story just felt really low stakes and repetitive. So
there wasn't a
agree,
lot
it was
new
just kind of
that I felt like that was providing in this episode, especially because, especially it's because they stick up for Sid so much in this episode, and she's just gonna betray them anyway,
Yeah.
Um.
Sid is really one of the most frustrating parts of this show. I forgot early on how frustrating she really is.
Sincerely. War Mantle, for showing that transition, giving us Gregor, all that great stuff. I think it should be A.
I could go with A. This was one of my very favorite episodes of the season. I love when they go back to Camino and the Empire. I mean, Gregor showing up, the way that they kind of just up the mystery and the stakes and the tension. Yeah, I can see
Ends
that.
with Hunter's capture. Yeah. Return to Camino. This is obviously where they walk right into a trap on Camino, and then ends with the infamous Tarkin phrase that he loves to use, because he also used it in A New Hope, of course, which is "You may fire when ready."
Yeah.
I think this should be an S tier.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's
and by the way,
things that are so memorable.
So should Camino Lost.
Yes, absolutely.
For
yes,
the visuals alone, the episode visually looks like is maybe visually one of the best looking episodes of Star Wars television in the history of ever, honestly.
Yeah.
So even if I was maybe expecting a little bit more plot wise, still I would still have to say, like, incredibly impressive from a visual standpoint and from an auditory standpoint as well.
Absolutely. I think, one thing that really sticks out to me is the way that it's just a farewell to Camino. The music, all the kind of lingering shots of the empty halls and cloning tubes. It's so perfect, not only as, a coda for this era of the Bad Batch emotionally, personally, but as sort of a little goodbye to this sort of era of Star Wars, to the Clone Wars,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
all the clones, to all the amazing clones that we meet in the Clone Wars as well. So yeah, these are S tier episodes easily.
Yeah,
these are
absolutely.
Remarkable. I'm worried that we have so many S tier. I'm like, we're gonna have to calm down here. This is
I think it'll be fine.
It will be fine, but I mean,
I think it'll be fine.
There's some banger episodes in season 1.
Yeah, there are. Season 1 actually did a lot better on this than I thought it was going to.
Me too. I feel like I feel like overall season 1, because in my mind I don't think of it as like this distribution of being this insane. I think it's a little bit less as a whole season. It's honestly less than the sum of its parts.
I agree
because
with that. Yeah,
these kind of function so well as individual episodes, and then as a season as a whole,
Whereas I feel
journey,
like season 2 is functions as more than the sum of its parts.
And I could get down with that too. I was looking back through my notes for season 2, and I was like, man, I know I really love this season, but there aren't that many episodes where I'm thinking back and thinking, man, that was a real standout.
Yeah, I will say, I think the 2-part season premieres should be in B tier. I thought they were good. I just thought they were good.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. Yeah, that's Spoils of War and Ruins of War.
Spoils of War and Ruins of War. I think they should both be in B.
Yeah, I mean, I could put them even lower potentially. For me, I didn't.
I
They
like
didn't.
I
They
like
didn't do that much
Romar
for
in the
me.
second episode, who shows that not all Serenians agreed with what Dooku was doing.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I think we should put these in B.
I guess we can. Yeah, I think maybe we can put these in B just like as openings and as an opener for this season. Just I mean, it set up some of the main themes and conflicts really well. Vis-a-vis raising Omega, the fighting life versus the safe life. Working for Sid, but as episodes themselves, they were kind of wimpy. They were
God
kind of wimpy to me.
Our next episode is Solitary Clone, Crosshair and Cody on Desix, facing one of the last separatist holdouts ever. Jacob, there's a correct answer for this one, and if you say anything other than the correct answer for the Solitary Clone, we're gonna have a problem.
Solitary Clone. I'm guessing I'm guessing that means S tier.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
I don't know if I would say S tier, but like this was a pretty masterful episode.
This episode is what convinced me on Crosshair's arc as a character. The Solitary Clone is what convinced me on Crosshair's arc as a character. Like I was going with it for season 1. I'm not saying it wasn't working then. It was, but when I truly started to believe in Crosshair Redemption was the Solitary Clone.
Yeah, okay. It is a bit of a turning point in that. A bit of a turning point in that sense,
Yeah.
Desix was a very, very cool planet as well.
Yeah, it was a great location.
Yeah.
Next, Faster.
Eesh. This is where I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. I fucking love this episode. I put it in A. I do. I
was honestly gonna put it in D. I did not enjoy this episode.
No, I love this episode
very much.
I think it's very fun. I think it's very fun. B or C? What do you think?
I think we need to say C, to be honest. I mean, if it were up to me, I don't know if you really feel strongly about it. I'm just
no. We'll put it in C. We'll put it in C then.
The leggy and everything. I'm just like, why?
Because it's fun.
It's superfluous. It's so like
it's character development. It's character development for Tech. It's character development for Omega. It's character development for Wrecker.
It just felt like fluff to me. No, we'll agree to disagree. Yeah. I did like Teo though.
Teo is great. Ben Schwartz
in this episode.
Ben Schwartz is great.
Shout out to Ben Schwartz.
Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences. I'm sorry, I cannot permit you to put my favorite 2 episodes of this damn show anywhere lower than S. Should be D.
Yeah, I'm not like I feel like this just exemplifies these, and I know you hate the word filler, Eli, so I'm sorry, but these sort of mission of the week episodes where the main plot doesn't fully connect into the bigger picture of the season.
And there was not really character development in this episode. I feel like it was, I mean, we got to know Fee better, cool, I guess, but like there are other episodes that let us know Fee better, that are better.
Yeah. These kind of episodes really rely on the way that the characters' personalities kind of bounce off each other in interesting ways, or the ability to show characters growing as individuals. Yeah, it relies on character development, and that didn't really happen here in any meaningful ways, and it just made me like Fee less, because she just was so willing to put all of them in mortal danger. Like
Tribe, I think should be A.
Oh, I mean, I can see that. I can see. I would personally put it in B, but if you want A,
I'm ranking a Wookiee episode higher than you are. What world are we in?
I know. I mean, the thing about Tribe again is that yes, I love the Wookiees. I really do. I love that they go back to Kashyyyk. I love that they don't just senselessly kill all of the monsters in the woods like they normally do in Star Wars. But it just doesn't have as much substance as it should, in my opinion, in terms of, like I said, character development or telling us something new or different or important. about the story or about the characters. But I still thought it was pretty good. So if you want to put it in A, I won't complain with that.
Yeah. I will be damned if we put my two favorite episodes of this show in anything less than S tier. Truth and Consequences and The Clone Conspiracy, or rather, the other way around, should both be in S tier.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, these are phenomenal. These are
my
truly
favorite two
phenomenal.
episodes of the show. Period. Some of my favorite animated Star Wars ever. The thriller elements, the political like intrigue stuff, the stuff by introducing
the
Clone
thriller
X.
and a political drama all in one, and it's so good at both.
The Chuchi of it all, Rex and his role to play in it is great. The Crossing is our next episode. I would go. This is pretty average. I'd say B.
Sorry, you just cut out. Which episode?
The Crossing.
The Crossing. Yeah, this was, definitely not quite the best. I kind of thought it was a standout episode. I feel like it showed Omega going through the pains and challenges in a really interesting way.
We had Omega in tech development, but I thought the episode was like, other than that, was only kind of just fine. So I think I'd put it at B.
I guess B is. I mean, we put. Okay, I can accept that. I wouldn't have put it higher than A. So B is.
Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Retrieval, which is the Bad Batch's guide to socialism and overthrowing, and a weird homage to Oliver Twist in some way with Benny. I think this episode's also pretty fine. I wouldn't put it higher than B.
Yeah, Retrieval. Yeah, this one was kind of middling. It was middling for me. I might say C. Like, I loved the message and kind of, showing a different from a world building and lore perspective, showing a different perspective of sort of why what the Empire does is harmful and how, kind of enables other bad actors to exploit people. But as an episode of this show, I could take it or leave it. So we can go B.
Okay, we'll do B. Metamorphosis. I remember liking this episode a lot more than you did. I remember we us having this discussion. I would put it as high as A. I love the stuff with the Zilla Beast, obviously, and how much this builds, in how much retroactively we know this builds for the series finale.
That is true.
This episode, I think, gains even more importance. This is the introduction of Royce Hemlock, like really our first chance to see what is on Tantus, as well as fun Zilla Beast action. I would put it A. Where would you put it?
I think I would put it in maybe C personally.
All right, then I see where we're putting it.
Yeah.
B. The Outpost is brutal and desolating in its like in how fucking cold it is. I feel like this has to be an S as well.
I honestly wouldn't put it as much as I love this for Crosshair, and as much as this is, kind of one of his, iconic moments, and just, okay, maybe it is S tier. Actually, I'm thinking back. I'm thinking about the episode. I think
I feel like the Solitary Clone and the Outpost are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, the Outpost is one of the episodes where it is genuinely a tough watch, not because it is bad, but because it is genuinely like heartbreaking and frustrating and brutal.
It's brutal, but that doesn't make it like that doesn't make it bad. Pabu, I fucking love this episode, and this episode had a very different meaning for me pre-season 3. And even with season 3, I still love this episode. The single distillation of a moment in time. Really no major conflict in this episode. A place where the Bad Batch can just be the calm in the storm before the hurricane ramps up. I did an edit of this episode and a little bit of tipping point to Taylor Swift's August, which I had a lot of fun doing. And like, it's just such a... It was a fun edit to do. I would go with S for Pabu, but I understand if you want to put it lower.
I was gonna put it at like B. Like, I thought this was like good, but not.
Okay, so we're putting it at A.
So I think A. Yeah, I think A is.
Yeah. Tipping point, which is really just building, like Echo sees Pabu really just building up for that 2-part finale. I would say probably A, maybe B.
Yeah, I could go with. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a really good episode. Like it was very, very taut and compelling, and also Echo, being back. Personally, I'd put it in A, I think.
All right, I think I'm going to put it in A as well. Okay. The Summit. A lot of the calm before the storm and stuff. Again, the first half of a devastating 2-part finale. Although most of the stuff you remember from this finale is in the second half. That's why I think this actually I think is going to be a 2-part Summit. Mostly the stuff you remember in this 2-parter is in the second half. So because of that, I actually might put it in A. This is the only 2-parter that I feel comfortable splitting.
Yeah, I think so. I think Summit belongs in A. I mean, Plan 99 is really. Yeah.
Plan 99.
Plan 99 is really like mind blowing, but
Plan 99. I have
yeah.
5 words. I have 6 words for you that should convince anybody why we were putting this in S. When have we ever followed orders? Enough said. Omega's capture, the untimely demise of Tech, the betrayal of Sid, executed so goddamn well. Everything was going the Batch's way until it wasn't. Confined, I think, should be A. The day in, day out look at what Omega is doing at Tantus is fantastic. God love it. And yeah, I think it should be A.
I don't know. Me personally, I would put it in C. I don't know. I
okay,
feel
so
like
we're putting it in B.
We put it in B. I just think it feels a little bit ponderous and repetitive, and beyond sort of just setting up where Omega is at. I feel like it is not the most effective at really communicating that. Like it tells us where she is and what she's dealing with emotionally, but I feel like it just doesn't really do enough with it to justify a whole episode.
Give me a second. Is it moving for you? Okay. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Run it, rewind.
Next episode is Paths Unknown, which I remember Jacob and I, neither of us really loved. I would put it in C. My guess is that Jacob would put it lower.
I'll put it in D. Like this was one of the only episodes in season 3 where I was really
I think
really
actually
not on board.
I think the Paths Unknown actually I think is kind of the infested or entombed of the season 3, honestly.
Yeah. I just didn't find the new Yeah. Because they find like the clone kids in the abandoned base, but
I don't think I was able to recognize it because this episode released along with Confined and Shadows of Tantus.
Yeah.
At the time, but so I was kind of thinking of all 3 of them as the same episode. But looking back on it, I think Paths Unknown should be in D. Shadows of Tantus, I'm gonna have different thoughts than you are about this.
I think just the Emperor being here makes this pretty amazing.
Yeah, but I'm gonna place it. I'm gonna average out what I know our rankings are.
Okay.
And put this in A tier.
No, tell me how you feel about it. I need to know more specifically because I know that you're not a fan of it the way that I am. Why is that?
I really like this episode. I really think they should have just revealed what was going on here.
I agree, but the way that they told the story was just so good that I can't help but love it.
I don't disagree
with
you, but I actually think. Yeah, I also kind of think that like the desperate energy of this episode, which is great, don't get me wrong. I actually like how a different approach does it better, actually. Them trying to blend in, I think is a little bit more interesting in my opinion. Speaking of a different approach, where would you put it? Because I know where I'd put it.
I thought it was a pretty good, I would say maybe A.
Yeah, I was going to put it in A as well. So
I just think that it's so like this part of the season was so much fun seeing Omega and Crosshair just like
that dynamic was really great
it was such a good dynamic.
Different approach. So I love different approach should be in A. The Return was fine. The Return, I would say comfortable B. No higher.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Like this was kind of for me, this was sort of in the middle of the season. Like, we really I like the episodes where they delve into the emotional side of the clones and get to the heart of the story. But there's nothing that really happens in it that justifies putting it above B, although it is like a good episode and an episode that I like a lot.
Yeah, no,
I think B is kind of
it's
the
very
perfect
good.
place for
It's
this
just
episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I felt like Barton 4 was better the first time we went there, obviously because of how brutal and desolate the outpost was.
Yeah.
But okay, well, shit. Infiltration, Extraction, our last like real two-pointer, our last real
Yeah.
two-parter. I feel like in this show, I
Yeah.
feel like they both deserve S.
I would have put them in like A. I don't think they deserve S, but it seems like you feel really strongly. So I'd love to, but tell me why. Tell me why if you're gonna put them there.
Because I love the tension, the stuff on Teth, the meeting up. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I think you might be right. Honestly, I think you might be right. I'm gonna put these in A. Although I do like them in the same ways that I like Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences. I think Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences ultimately do them a little bit better. So yeah, we'll put Extraction in A. I'd probably put them in like low S.
Yeah, I think
Maybe high A, but
I'd be comfortable
but
with A. Yeah,
but yeah, we're gonna do A.
I think yeah. I mean, which one did you
Wait, wait.
did you like Extraction or Infiltration better though?
I
Because I know these
think
go
I
together.
like
Do these have
Extraction better, but
me too, me too. But
no, no, wait, whichever one. I know we like the opposite one better. I forget which one it was. But anyway,
gosh, I
still,
can't remember
Wolf
now.
was
Yeah,
great.
these are great. Yeah, these are great episodes.
Give me a second,
The action was amazing. Yeah,
and then yeah, this look good. This look right so far. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Bad territory. Territory. I would say. I think I know where you're gonna put it, and I think I know where I'm gonna put it. So let's just compromise and go with C.
Where do you think? Where would wait?
I thought you were gonna put it in D.
I mean, it is one of my least favorite. I think this is where Fennec and the Batch go.
Not the batch. It's just Hunter and Wrecker.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is yeah. You're right. That is what the Batch is at this point. But yeah, yeah. I would have put this one in D or C. I didn't. It didn't feel very lively or original. It didn't do
I
very
would
much
have
for
put
me.
it in B myself, just because I thought Fennec got a lot of interesting character expansion in this episode. But I understand
I
why
feel like
you put it
she was
lower.
just kind of there. I didn't really personally. I didn't really see the expansion.
All right, here's the interesting one: the Harbinger.
Mm, the Harbinger.
I know where I'd put it. Where do you think you'd put it?
I know you're not a fan of this episode. I'm not sure. I know it's a little the way that I know it's a little underwhelming and disappointing. How the story handles Ventress coming back. They kind of just put her in, immediately take her back out. Oh, I don't know. I think it is an interesting episode. It's a fun episode. I would say maybe B personally.
Okay, I put it in C. Um,
Okay, I'd be fine with that. Like
yeah,
this is not
yeah,
a
I would put
terrible
it.
episode. It's just not an awesome episode.
Yeah, I would. For me personally, I'd go in C, just because I was just kind of disappointed by what this episode decided to do.
Yeah.
Identity Crisis. I know that this is going to be a tense one. I believe, because I think you and I had very different opinions about Identity Crisis.
Yeah, I
Where do you
mean,
put it? Where do you put Identity Crisis?
I might put it in I think I'll put it in C tier, to be
Yeah, so it's
honest.
going in A.
You were gonna go straight to S.
Oh, absolutely.
You
This is
go
one of my
straight to
favorite episodes
S.
this seasons. The
Okay,
season,
that's
seeing the
fine.
full process
That's
of
fine.
the bounty hunter stuff, with the reveal of the kids, with the reveal of. Give me a second. All right, here we
Very
go.
laggy.
Point of no return. The assault on Pabu, the taking of Omega for the second time, desolation all around. I'd say I'd put it in A.
I might put this one in A as well. This was a pretty fantastic episode. You know, that shot of all the Imperial troops landing on the main courtyard of Pabu and slowly walking forward as all the people are running away kind of in front of them and between the columns is such an amazing image just stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
And I also like genuinely did not expect Omega to give herself up right
Yeah.
until the very end. Yeah, this was a very emotional, intense episode. Absolutely A tier.
Juggernaut. I know
We
you and
might,
I will have different
I
opinions
know we
on this
disagree with this
episode as
one.
well.
For me, this was one of those episodes where it's like, yeah, we don't necessarily. It's not the most groundbreaking episode, you know, emotionally, plot wise, character wise, but it's just so like what it does set out to do. It's very narrow, but it's very, very effective at doing that. So I put in like A tier. Like it definitely doesn't
Yeah.
belong in
Okay,
S.
so it's going in
Like
B
it
tier.
completes the mission pretty well.
So it's going in B tier because I put it in C.
Yeah, justifiable.
Into the Breach, I would say this for me is B tier. It's good. It's very good. Again, we're slowly building up to the finale. Yeah, we didn't talk about any of these three of the three we have remaining that long ago. Into the Breach, yeah, keeping building up to the finale, doing the space station above Coruscant. I would say B. Where would you say?
I would say B as well. That's fine. Good. It's not amazing.
I would say Flash Strike as a like part one to like as a prelude to the Cavalry has arrived. I think that should merit A.
I was gonna
Maybe
say
if
or C, to be honest. Like I might go with B for this one personally.
I it's my brothers are coming that gets it for me in A.
That is a good
It's like
moment, but it's just overall as an episode, like it
okay,
just feels some
all right,
connective tissue that got spun into an entire
all
episode for
right,
some reason.
and finally the Cavalry has arrived.
Oh
Jacob,
man.
God, I hope we agree on this one. This is an S tier episode.
Was there ever any doubt?
I don't know. Based on some
there
decisions we're making, there was a little bit of doubt in my mind, honestly. Not really, because I know we both put it as our favorite episode of season 3, and it's that for a reason.
Yeah. It's hard not to be amazed by that episode and just, you know, looking at how far the entire show had come.
Give me a second. Let me just do this. I think I messed some stuff up. A different approach into the.
What are you getting?
Let me. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop sharing. So yeah, Jacob. Which I will just ask you this because I usually ask this question near the end, which is what do you think you most like agree with on this list? What do you think we did the best on this list? And what do you least agree with, you could say? What is one thing?
It's hard to say without seeing it, but I really disagree with. I mean, I'm blanking on the name. I mean, there were a couple of episodes that you really, really liked that I really didn't, and then I can't remember, but vice versa. There was one as well, but I think overall we were like pretty.
Yeah,
we were surprisingly like we're surprisingly in Concord on this one.
yeah. I think Pablo should have been higher. I think Pablo should have been S tier, but I understand why you don't think it was S tier. I think Faster should have been higher, but I understand why you didn't want to put it higher.
Like Faster nearly as much as you did.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was a whole ton of fun. But yeah, no, so we have, let's see, just reviewing, actually, wait, where do we put Juggernaut again? We put Juggernaut in B, right?
Yeah.
Because it got out of control where it was on my end. So to summarize, I will just read out our final tier list. So, a summary, very quick summary of where we have stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
In S tier, Aftermath, Cut and Run, Battle Scars, Reunion, Return to Camino, Camino Lost, The Solitary Clone, The Clone Conspiracy, Truth and Consequences, The Outpost, Plan 99, The Cavalry Has Arrived. A tier, Replacements, Decommissioned, Devil's Deal, Rescue on Ryloth, War Mantle, Tribe, Pabu, Tipping Point, The Summit, Shadows of Tantus, Infiltration, Extraction, Identity Crisis, Point of No Return, and A Different Approach, which should have been earlier up there, but they got messed around. Whatever. B tier, Bounty Lost, Common Ground, Spoils and Ruins of War, The Crossing, Retrieval, Metamorphosis, Confined, The Return, Flash Strike, Into the Breach, and Juggernaut. C tier is Cornered, Rampage, Faster, Bad Territory, and The Harbinger. And D tier is one from each season, Infested, Entombed, and Paths Unknown. I'm going to save this. You're going to be able to find this on the In a Galaxy tier maker profile, which is very fun. I'm glad we got to use this again. But in the meantime, I think that's going to be it for this episode of Star Wars in a Galaxy. Next week, Jacob and I we're doing what we always do, a special episode. We're going to be continuing our deleted scenes episodes, or episodes, Star Wars in the Galaxy, watching all the deleted scenes we can get our hands on. And this week, so here's one thing that Jacob and I have had much praise for the Disney era of Star Wars, myself specifically. I'm not saying that Jacob hasn't, but one of the things I will say that I am disappointed in this new era of Star Wars with is the deleted scenes. Because we've gone through the Lucas era, the original George era of deleted scenes, where George was incredibly open about his process and stuff, and Disney is less open about their process, which I understand from like a corporate perspective, even though I don't like it.
It's in keeping with what we know about Disney as a company, how they like to operate. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. So pre-Disney, we did, how many episodes did we do of deleted scenes? I think we did like 7 or 8, because we were feasting. There were a lot. We did seasons. We did the original trilogy. We did the prequel trilogy. We did the TCW film and season 2, and then 3 and 4, 5 and 3, 4, and 5. So we did 6 pre-Disney. We're only actually going to be doing 2 post-Disney, and the first one we are going to be doing is the sequel trilogy. We only have deleted scenes actually for 2 of them, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but we have descriptions of many things that were cut from The Rise of Skywalker, so we're gonna like kind of make our way with that one. Yeah, Jacob and I just talking about the sequel trilogy. What could possibly go wrong?
We shall see.
We shall see. But that's going to be it for this episode of Star Wars in the Galaxy. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can follow us. You can listen to us everywhere on all the podcast platforms, Star Wars in a Galaxy. You can follow us everywhere at In a Galaxy Pod. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, all that place. All over the place is at In a Galaxy Pod. Hopefully by the time this releases, Epic Confrontations will be out. I don't know, honestly. But hope you enjoyed. I will say, hope you enjoyed Bangers and Smash versus Sheev Shills. You can follow me everywhere at my Linktree, linktr.ee/_OchiFan327. And I think if that's it, then all that's left to say is, may the Force be with you.
Always.